Imagine waking up, trapped inside a magnificent planetary-scale escape room. But the locals who built it basically threw away the key a century ago.
Oh, that sounds like a total nightmare.
Right. And now, you're just stuck, living on a leaky raft in a boundless sea. Welcome, learner, to today's exploration into the source material.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Our mission today is to unpack this really gripping sci-fi narrative excerpt. It's called Tales of Arteza, Chapter 1, also known as Rsa Ocean or Outside Alliance by Mixlab Games.
It's a fantastic piece of world building. We're going to dive into the Avi Galaxy, specifically this whole survival dynamic of exiled humanity on a hostile water world.
Exactly. And we'll get into this high-stakes heist that just perfectly illustrates the tension between the planet's native giants and these desperate human refugees. So if you've ever felt like, I don't know, an outsider looking in on a world you just don't fully understand, this exploration of survival and alien ecology is going to be right up your alley.
Oh, absolutely. The feeling of isolation is palpable right from the start.
It really is.
Yeah.
So let's start by painting a picture of Arteza itself. Because this planet, it actually used to be part of this massive cosmic network called the Alliance Guild.
Yeah, they were fully integrated into the galaxy.
But then, nearly a century ago, the native artisans violently revolted. They just severed all galactic ties and literally crashed their own planetary launch stations straight into the global ocean.
Which is such an extreme measure, they essentially locked the door from the inside and threw away the key.
Right. And so now you've got generations of humans stranded there, surviving on floating rafts. And, you hear ocean wind and you might think, oh, a tropical paradise.
It's like a nice permanent vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But living on what the text calls surface drift and eating ration mash, I mean, that sounds way more like a nightmare than a vacation.
Oh, without a doubt. It's what you could call a beautifully deceptive prison.
I like that phrasing.
Yeah, because the text really masterfully contrasts this grand, ancient cosmic history of the Alliance with the raw, desperate, day-to-day survival of the humans.
Just scrapping by on ingenuity alone.
Exactly. The planetary environment itself is essentially enforcing this strict isolationist policy. It's keeping them marginalized.
And that profound desperation, that massive contrast between human poverty and the planet's hidden riches, that's what drives our two main characters, Jay and Kazo, to do the unthinkable.
Right, the heist.
Yeah, they decide to break into a forbidden native stronghold.
And this isn't just a fortress, it's an artisan artifice.
Right, which the text describes as a massive artificial island metropolis. But it's crafted entirely from interwoven living fauna and roots.
It's incredible. The sensory details the author uses are just so vivid. You have this pitch-black underbelly that smells of wet moss and copper.
And they're navigating this completely alien space, lit only by, like, a grease-soaked rag torch.
Yeah, and then they finally reach the grand food hold.
Oh, man. The food hold, it's like starving scavengers breaking into this high-end organic grocery store after living on, stale saltines their whole lives.
That is the perfect analogy. They find these indigo brambleberries and clay amphoras of sunshale and fermented wheelie.
Fermented wheelie sounds like some sort of intense alien kombucha.
It probably is, but the real prize is this salt-encrusted dried meat. To Jay, tasting that savory meat is literally a lightning bolt to the tongue.
After months of slimy surface kelp, I bet it was.
Oh, for sure. But it really highlights this thematic divide between the ripe and the raw. The artifice is a living, breathing ecosystem. It's entirely alien, but perfectly harmonious.
Whereas the humans are basically forced to be parasitic just to scrape by.
Right. I mean, even the storage shelves inside the artifice are made of living wood. It just emphasizes the artisan's absolute mastery over their environment.
But, a living fortress like that isn't just left unguarded.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, the joy of finding this grocery store is just violently shattered by this frequency that shakes the marrow of their bones. And that introduces the island's terrifying security.
The artifice guards. These beings are massive.
Yeah, the text says they have an immense bone structure, and their skin is like weathered tree bark. And they wear these wide-brimmed bramble hats.
And what's fascinating here is the text notes that old human sea doggies, the Meteran scavengers, they rumor the natives to be slow and clumsy.
Which, wait, I have to ask about that. Because if humans have been stranded here for 100 years, how could their survival intelligence be so deeply flawed?
It's a great question.
I mean, this guard is bred for defense. He lunges with explosive speed and just shatters a living wood shelf with a single punch. How do you get that so wrong?
Well, it connects back to that broader theme of isolation we were talking about. Humans are so detached from the artisans that they only know these outdated, generalized myths.
So they just assume that giants are slow to make themselves feel better.
Basically, yeah. The guard isn't just a monster. He represents the planet's active, predatory immune response to human infection.
Wow, an immune response. That makes a lot of sense.
And think about the sound of his growl. The text describes it as two tectonic plates grinding together. It really illustrates their sheer elemental power.
It's terrifying. So you've got Jay and Kazo facing down this elemental force. There's nowhere to hide in these root tunnels, and they get backed into a corner on an open-air terrace.
Boxed in by two of these massive guards.
Right. So Jet has to use some serious quick thinking. She throws her burning grease torch at one guard's bramble hat,
Which is brilliant.
and then chucks a handful of that precious salt-cured meat right into the eyes of the other guard. And then they're forced to take a literal leap of faith. They jump 30 cubits down into the ocean.
30 cubits. That is a massive drop. On Earth, hitting water from that height would be lethal.
Yeah, it'd be like hitting solid concrete. But this isn't Earth water. This reveals the most unique aspect of the planet's ecology.
The Rsa Ocean.
Exactly. The text says the Rsa Ocean is highly buoyant, tastes of mild honey, and acts like a wet mattress. It's wild. It's like jumping into a giant vat of honey water that miraculously breaks a lethal fall.
From a physics standpoint, it's fascinating. The environment acts as this definitive boundary line.
How so?
Well, the Artezans completely rule the living islands, but they abhor the deep water. They won't go in it. And humanity rules the water, but they starve without the islands.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that. It's an ecological stalemate. And it's the defining conflict of this whole world.
Exactly.
And the sheer irony of it, right? The very ocean that acts as the walls of their planetary prison just saved their lives.
Yeah.
So they escape in their patched-up skiff, and these towering guards just have to watch from above as they fade into the fog.
But as the text reveals, their survival was really only half the battle.
Right, because they're heading back to the human settlement, the Nexus. And the real trouble is waiting for them there.
Yeah, this has been such an incredible journey to unpack. From that cosmic backstory of a severed alliance, all the way down to a high-stakes heist in a living metropolis.
And ending with a plunge into a honey-sweet alien ocean. It's just so cool.
It really is. It shows how beautifully the source text uses ecology to drive both the plot and the tension.
It does. And, it leaves us with something pretty heavy to think about. Because the text concludes by noting that Jay and Kaizo are in massive trouble with their own crew just for stealing the skiff to go on this raid.
Right, they broke the rules.
Yeah, but if the human society on the Nexus is so rigid and, desperate, that a successful raid one that brings back invaluable life-saving food is still considered a punishable offense, are the humans actually their own worst enemies in this exile?
That's a really compelling point.
Are they just clinging so hard to their rules of survival that they've completely forgotten how to actually live? It's definitely something to chew on. Well, thank you, learner, for joining us on this exploration of the source material today. Keep that curiosity sharp.